Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are going to be looking at ways we can print things out in Python without using print. Yeah, I know that sounds weird. Ways we can print things without using print. So we are not going to be doing things like print hello. No, we won't be doing that. So first of all, we are going to look at different ways we can print things out. All right, then when we are done, we'll actually use everything we've learned to write our own custom print function. So before we go ahead, please make sure to like the video if you find it helpful and subscribe to the channel. So let's get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is to import the system module, right? So do import sys, just sys. Now when we import sys, we can now say sys.stdout. So that means the standard output, right? So standard output dot write. So we want to write to the console or to the terminal. So we put hello world. All right. So we can now run this, and you see hello world in the terminal. All right. But you get this squiggly line here. So what does that mean? It means that we are not specifying that whatever will be printed next should go to a new line. For instance, if I duplicate this and we run it again, you see they are both printed on the same line, right? We are not specifying that it should go to the next line. So what will I do now to specify that we want to go to the next line? We're going to put a new line specifier here. So after doing this, when we run it again, you can now see that we no longer have that squiggly thing and each output is printed on a separate line. All right. So another way we can print things out in Python without using the print function is to import the operating system. So simply do import OS. All right. And in fact, you can actually import them on the same line. Yes. So I'll remove one of this. Now you might be thinking, system and OS, is there a difference? Well, sys, this sys, this module it gives us access to the Python interpreter, all right? It gives us access to the Python interpreter, the command line tools, and everything that comes with the Python runtime environment. Okay, everything that allows our Python program to run. OS, on the other hand, gives us access to the operating system. Okay, it gives you access to the operating system you're working on. So in the case of the operating system, we do os.write. It's also write we're going to use. Then we specify the file descriptor. We simply use 1. All right. And then we say hello world. All right. So good practice. Let's put a new line character here. And then when we run the program, okay, let's add a difference, right? I'll say sys. All right. So that we can know the difference. Then in this case, I'll say os. And then when I run it, okay, we're getting problem. A bytes-like object is required, not string. Okay, yeah, so when we use the OS, right, remember we are going very low now. So the operating system expects things to be done in bytes. Okay, this is just an abstracted explanation. I'm not going too deep. So we need to prefix it using this B. All right, so when we prefix it, we are specifying everything we've passed to it as bytes. Now, when you run the program, you should get your output as expected, hello world, using the OS. All right. So there is also another way we can print things out using the system. So I'll say sys dot stdout. All right. So the stdout, it points to the output stream provided by Python. All right. Anyone who has written C++, you know we use stdcout. All right, so the cout is kind of built for C++, but Python 1 is also using the standard output. All right, so we say stdout.write, and we simply write hello world also. Hello world. Yeah, okay. R comes before the error. Hello world and a new line character. Okay, let's specify underscore stdout, then underscore. So when I run the program, you see we print out hello world for stdout. So let's do one more, you understand, because I'm going to use it in the next when we are building our custom function. So the next one we're going to use is to use the file input and output system. All right, so I'll say with open. Okay, so with open, so this opens a file descriptor. All right, and like I said, when we use a file descriptor, the same way we did in the OS here, we put one. All right, and we put one, so we say we want to write. All right, then we do closed fd should be equal to false. All right, as f. And when we're done, we say f.write. So what do we want to write? I'll say hello world. All right, so I'll say file IO. All right, okay, let me put space here. And then when we run this now, you should get file IO, excuse me. Okay, I'll put a new line character here. So when we run it, we expect to see everything clearly. All right, so all of these are basically very, very low way of doing things in Python, and they are not very flexible. All right, so let's go ahead and write our own function, and I'll put all of this inside a comment. All right, so let me copy everything. Okay, I'll leave that down, Command X. So we put everything inside comments. Now when we run it, we no longer see anything. So now we write our own custom function. So for our function, our own custom print, I'll name it our print. All right, you can name yours my print, but I'm writing it for everybody. Okay, so what we are going to need is to bring system. We already have system. I don't think we need operating system in this case. So we're going to pass quite a few arguments to this. The first one we're going to be passing, of course, what's it called? Arbitrary arguments. All right, so arbitrary argument allows our function to receive as many number of arguments as possible. And since we are writing it to mimic the print function in Python, that is a very important feature, because print in Python can print out many things, right? So I can say print 1, 2, 3, 4. It can print many things. Then we can say hi. It can print many things. Okay, so you see it prints out everything. Now we want our function to also be able to receive so many things. So that's why we use arbitrary arguments. So arbitrary arguments allows the function to receive as many arguments as possible when we are using it. Then we want to separate each argument with a space, right? So I'll say SEP or separator, an empty space. Then we use a comma here. Then we, just like the print function, right? So once again, let me comment this out to show you what I want to talk about. So just like the print function, when we do like this, hello, I'll duplicate this. Now when we run it, you see it automatically prints everything on a separate line. We don't need to manually add a new line character here. So we want to do the same thing. We want our function to have the ability to print things on separate lines. So we say end should be equal to this. Then I'll put a new line character here. Then the next thing we're going to do is specify where we want our output to be. All right, and of course we want it to be in the console, in the terminal. So I'll say system.stdout. All right, then flush will be equal to false. So flush allows what we want to print to wait until we give the commands to print it. All right, if we set it to true, it will force the output to appear immediately. So I'll say flush should be equal to false. All right, flush should be equal to false. So now that we're done with that, excuse me, now that we're done with that, let's now implement how we want our outputs to appear. So the output of whatever I want to print with this function, we want to take our separator. All right, we want to join a map. Don't worry, when I'm done, I'll explain everything here. Comma arguments. All right, then we come out here plus end. All right, so we want a new line every time. So I'm going to say file dot write. Remember, write is how we display things out to the terminal, right? We always use write. So, and we've specified that where we want to print things out to is the terminal. So we are going to say file dot write. And what do we want to write? The output. All right, so for the output, what we are simply doing on this line is we are simply formatting how it should be printed out, right? So we want to print out the arguments. Okay, we want to print out the arguments, and they should be joined by this separator, right? You remember we said we want to separate each argument with this separator. So we print out the arguments and we join them with this separator, so you have space in between. Then at the end, you want a new line to always be printed, so that's why we say plus end, plus end. All right, so one last, we want to make sure that it waits for us to run our program before it flushes. So we say file dot flush. All right, so file dot flush. I think this is a method, right? Good. So okay, that's all. Now we can now test our function. All right, we can now test our function. So I'll say our print should be equal to hello world. All right, and when you run it, you get hello world. I can also say hello to myself. Okay, and you get hello Cornelius, right? And we can also do our print. It can take different data types. All right, so I'll say 4 multiplied by 6, and of course you get 24. All right, we can also write a list and say I'll say names should be equal to Sam, and then we do John, and let's add one more name, Peter. All right, we can now go ahead and say our print, and we pass names to it. All right, so you see it prints it out as a list, and we can also put it inside a for loop. So I'll say for I in range of names. All right, so I'll say our print. Oh, I should put in here for I in range. So our print I. All right, for I in range names. Oh, sorry, I should put len. All right, or since I don't need the index, so no need for me to put it inside range. So I'll just say for I in range, and when we are done, good. So you get each element in the list printed out individually. So you get Sam, you get John, and you know what, let's test one more data type. All right, so I'll print out the dictionary. So say person. You know what, I have a dictionary here from our previous video. Good, let's just copy students, Command C, and then I come to test, I paste it here, and then we use our print to print out students. So I'll simply say students. All right, and then when we print it out, so you get students printed out, and we can go inside students to print out things. All right, so we'll say our print, let me just copy this. All right, I'll just copy both here. Yeah, Command C, our print, Command V. So we'll say R. All right, so let's leave the other print, the Python's print, and you can see everything is as we get. So we wanted to print out the subject, we went through Steve, and then the subject. So to print out age, we went through Paul and the age key to print out the value of 20. So that's all for this video. In this video, you've seen how to print things out without using the print function in Python. Of course, I'm not telling you to replace Python's print with our own. Of course, this one is nowhere near what the people who designed the language have done. All right, so the print you use in Python is optimized and it's your best option to work with. But what I try to show you in this video is to show you how things really work under the hood, and that's why I started by showing you these 4 different ways. Maybe there are more, I don't know, but these are the 4 I know, and we've also used it to implement our function. So guys, that's all for this video. If you enjoy it, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.